Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. And as Rostermania continues, Asuna has confirmed that even 100 Thieves, Cloud9 and others are not locked in terms of what their roster is going to be for next season. Despite the rumours we've heard over the last few days, further changes could be coming, and could Zander potentially join one team or another as their new IGL? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Plenty to discuss today. Loads of new subs yesterday as well. Let's keep on going with that one. Firstly, just to mention this real quick, a new leak with regard to the new agent that's coming soon. So I guess I'll just share this for you guys on stream. We believe it's going to be like an Indian agent. There's going to be some potential water activation going on here as well, because yeah, look at this. So not exactly sure what this is going to mean or refer to, but yeah, new agent's coming relatively soon. Agent 20, I think. New controller, I think we believe as well. So yeah, we'll see how it works for the game when this officially is announced relatively soon. But we saw the most recent agents, you know, Chamber, even Neon and Fade, definitely getting utilized in competitive play relatively quickly. Now, the whole GameChangers drama we saw yesterday was crazy, and I just wanted to dive into a little bit of follow-up on it actually. As Ye says here, I'm starting to believe GameChangers is a reality TV show. There cannot be this much drama. I mean, there certainly is. It's actually kind of crazy. So we saw yesterday that one of the players got their team disqualified for cheating. They then claimed they weren't cheating. They were a substitute for the team in question. They then came out with a twit longer to say, you know, I submitted a ticket to say that I wasn't cheating to Riot, but apparently people have noticed that their account was on like a Discord of one of these cheating, I guess, Discord websites or whatever, and they were a customer and a member of it, so caught an absolute 4K joining this Discord and getting the cheats downloaded. So understandably it kind of, well, banned and forwarded from that particular tournament, at which point, of course, well, certain GameChangers teams qualified. Before we talk about this, I'll just mention this real quick. So these are the 8 teams that qualified for the main event of Season 3 or Series 3 of GameChangers, which is still ongoing despite the fact that the kind of partnership league is, of course, coming to an end and starting soon next season. Not sure what the situation is in terms of whether teams in the partnership league have to field the GameChangers roster. There has been talk about that, because there was even talk from Zoms, right, okay, whether Sentinels will have a tier 2 team that they can compete with as well as the tier 1 team. That may or may not be allowed, but it may be either mandated or certainly encouraged that these teams also field the GameChangers roster, all the partnership organizations, for next season. And some orgs like DRX and co have already started to sign players like that. These are the top performers from the closed qualifier. And just to note actually, because this player keenC at the end was there was some drama going on here with apparently leaked chat logs where they were saying that they would, you know, either change their pronouns or do whatever it takes to kind of get involved in game changes. That's one of the strange things really with this going on online, is like, how is there really a way to police whether players are actually female or whether it's just possible for certain individuals to claim they are and then compete? So I don't know, messy situation. Don't want to get into it in more detail than that really, but one that you're gonna have to keep your eyes on, because the GameChangers drama certainly does not stop at all, and that's where we're going to leave it for today. Let's talk about the partnership league for next season. RRQ here getting absolutely roasted by pretty much the entire Indonesian scene for signing a pretty much entirely Filipino roster. They did bring in Tebotol to their team, the only Indonesian player on their team, and I think why they were getting roasted so hard for this is because Indonesian organization, they teased early on when they were going to announce their roster that they were going to bring in Indonesian players. They put like the Indonesian flag on there. A lot of fans were really excited about the possibility of getting some proper support from an organization that should be supporting their region. Instead of that, they've basically not done that at all. They've announced their full roster here. Nexi, Kelly S, I thought was kind of funny. Not Kelly S, it's Kelly S, and you know, 2GE here. Of course, we saw these other players we just mentioned, and yeah, that is their official roster for next season. Some are saying it's not going to be particularly good. I don't know too much on these players, so I don't really want to comment on how good their roster might potentially be. All I can say though is they've been getting kind of smashed by, well, what you'd think that would be their own fan base, by not really building an Indonesian roster as you might expect. So kind of unfortunate really, because I was wondering whether some of these organizations, like let's say Global Esports for example, they're meant to be from the Indian scene. Like you would imagine that Riot would say, look, you need to support that scene. Yes, the rule is technically they just need 3 out of 5 players from their own region, but their region is not India necessarily, or for this organization not Indonesia, but just Asia Pacific in general. So they can pretty much just abandon the region that they were brought in to represent if they want, which is kind of what this organization has done, you could argue. And even one of the top guys at the organization, it gets asked, why is there only one Indonesian player? And they say, because there are many things that we cannot disclose. Should there be more Indonesians? Yes, but it is what it is. We must remain big-hearted in responding to the turbulence that has occurred in the last 48 hours. So strange situation, but I expect to see more of this maybe from some other organizations that are looking to collect the bag from Riot for the partnership, stipends they get, and pay minimum minimum salary to their players and not even build a team that their fans want. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised if it's not the last we see on that type of topic. This quickly on the EMEA side, some confirmations on what we believe teams are going to do. Fnatic, man, they are building a scary team. They've got Boaster, they've got Durka, Alphager, bringing in Chronicle, we believe, and maybe now Leo is coming in as well. Believe we heard this rumor a few days ago, potentially, and if Leo does indeed join, I mean, yeah, damn, we've got to think that Na'Vi next season, like the former FPX team plus cNed, Liquid, of course, they're also bringing in Redgo and Nats, we think, and then Fnatic, like these guys are building some seriously scary teams, as in fairness are the North American organizations and the Americas in general, because we'll see what Loud are doing here in a second, but yeah, man, this is, quite something to consider. And even this real quick from Team Heretics, because we thought that maybe Mixwell to Koi Esports was going to be a thing. Now apparently he's reached an agreement with Team Heretics because the Spanish teams have 3 spots in the VCT EMEA for next season, and Mixwell may be one of those players. So yeah, definitely interesting, like Kelox and the like, where he's going to go as a result of what the situation might be there. But yeah, Heretics, Mixwell is a likely possibility. This also just from the Koi perspective that Magnum is still in consideration to play with them, but as it stands has been allowed to explore his options. So no guarantees that he's going to stay or going to go. But this is one of the announcements that you might have expected from some of the Sentinels guys, you would say, from, you know, maybe a ShahZaM or the like, when he was told, like, yeah, we're not sure we want to bring you in, but, you know, you're not for sure going to be gone. You'd have thought that maybe they would have allowed him, or he would have said, you know, hey, like, I'm an option for teams out there, just at least consider me, because it's a similar thing with a guy like dapr that was probably told he was going to stay and now is told he's going to go. And I was like, well, he's lost opportunities potentially because other teams have locked in players and rosters that they might not have done if they'd known that dapr was an option. So that's one of the kind of questions about Sentinel's decisions over the last few weeks. But speaking of them, of course, we believe that 2 of the Loud guys, Sassy and Pancard, are coming into Sentinels. Apparently the remaining 3 will stay together on Loud. So quite interesting, because there's been all the drama about Loud and the fact that these guys having to break up after just winning the World Championship. But yes, Salak, Les, and Aspas as well, they are going to be staying on the roster for the upcoming season, we believe. And there has been some talk as well, because yes, we believe Sassy Pancarda's English might not be great, but probably making some progress there, will join Sentinels too. We'd imagine pretty good effect. It's a scary team on paper, built around, I suppose, the success of getting the most out of TenZ. It's going to be interesting to see how well TenZ can do with a proper coaching staff and support structure once again around him. But there's been some talk, okay, could a guy like Marv go the other way to the Loud team, right? Because if Marv doesn't indeed have offers from those teams we mentioned, and also he's going to decline Evil Geniuses if they even give him an offer, then where does he go? But I don't think the Les maybe speaks the best English, so like that whole relationship might not work particularly well. It's definitely intrigued to your thoughts on that one. And even guys like Nismo, for example, from Ghost, where are they going to end up? So many big name players still in consideration right now, and that's what kind of Asuna says here in a second, that just because a lot of these teams we believe know what they are doing doesn't mean everything's set in stone, because I'm kind of surprised personally, situations like even 100 Thieves, like more players there haven't been announced, of course. Only Zekken has been confirmed on Sen. 100T have only confirmed Cryo so far. It may be because there's other considerations going on. Marft is still an option. NRG haven't confirmed anything either. And even this quickly from Leaf, as he says, wonder if any of the NA players who didn't make it to the major will come over to Valorant. And as Foxy says, not a chance when there's only 24 of you making it to franchising. 22 I've heard. 22 I've heard 20, he says. So kind of saying that out of the 25 North American spots, only 20 will be occupied by North American players, which is pretty interesting, because obviously we thought that 22 was because 2 were going to come in from Loud, Sassy and Pancada to Sentinels, and then 1 was going to come in Ardis to NRG. That was 22 NA teams out of 25 spots. Apparently now it could be 20, meaning that on another team, there are also 2 spots potentially getting traded out. And who knows if there's a deal that is currently ongoing that may well fall through or go through very soon indeed.
Roster not yet finalized? No roster's finalized. Not even ours, or C9's, or like anyone.
Wow.
I mean, we've only announced Cryo, no?
Wait a second, someone else is getting announced? Like who would be getting announced?
Us? The whole team?
But you guys are already,
No.
What are you saying, bro?
Wait, you
That's
don't
not
understand.
how it works, no?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That?
I promise you.
That?
They got
Alright, when you're older, you'll understand. Actually, if you were
There's only one window, and she's ours. That's a fake.
yeah, right.
No, say it. Go on, say it. No
If you
bars.
on a franchising team, you would know the process.
Alright. Jesus, Louise.
I said it. I said it.
How would you say it like that, though? You said it kind of like different. Could said it nicer.
So what do you guys think about what Asuna had to say there, right? Effectively suggesting that, like, yeah, nothing is set in stone here, despite the fact that 100 Thieves are, we believe they know what they're doing. It might not be guaranteed that they stick with their roster as it is, because they've still got time to change. The roster lock period is in, like, February. They have a soft roster lock soon, but if they have 5 out of their 5 players locked in by then, you know, there's no issues if they don't announce anything and then change their mind going forwards. We would expect, look, they announced Cryo on an individual level. They could well announce Asuna, Bang, Derek, you know, whichever players they want to returning, because obviously we know Asuna's going to stay, and if Asuna's going to stay, Bang is going to stay. That's what we believe. But Asuna said, look, even Cloud9, we believe they're going to have Vanity, Leaf, and Zelsis, plus zyppan and Yay. But like, look, they haven't confirmed it yet. It's not guaranteed. Things could be an option. And even Zander from version 1, like, he's an IGL option that some people are looking out for. And that's what some have said. Could they potentially get minus Stella plus Zander? I'm not sure that's a massive upgrade, and the team has experience playing with Stella now, but look, it's one they might be considering, and other teams might be considering Zander's services as well. So one to keep your eyes on for sure, because Asuna's basically said, look, we think we know what we're doing, but it's still far from guaranteed. Unless all the contracts are signed, it's still not a guarantee. And even Sentinels right now, we think we know what they're doing, and most of the deals are probably set in stone, but even the rumor has it that TenZ's contract is not yet signed, which means, like, look, if TenZ isn't yet signed and an organization from APAC comes through with $1 million offer, then, like, Ye got, I think, from some organization in APAC, then, you know, does he turn it down? Does he go for it? Like, it's a question mark, right? So we'll see how this one develops over time, but definitely this is not over yet, this Rostermania period, especially if what Eccles has to say is legitimate, that there might only be 20 out of 25 of these spots going to North American pros. Does that mean that, you know, an EG, for example, or even another team might be changing its minds? That remains to be seen. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, take care, and I'll see you next time.